Listen carefully. Prop 2026 is not a date on your calendar. It is a demand on your character. Time will not make you ready. Time does not transform anyone. Decisions do. Discipline does. Clarity does. Write this down. Tomorrow will not rescue you from today's confusion. You must rescue tomorrow by deciding today. I came to talk to builders, not spectators. My real love is people like you who believe this is for you. Say it with me. I am here to build. Now hear the hook that will carry us through every session. 2026. Ready, teams? Vision first. Roles second. Fruit proves leadership. If you reverse that order, you inherit chaos. If you start with roles, you will fill chairs with warm bodies and still go nowhere. If you start with fruit, you will manipulate metrics and still miss the mission. Vision must rule. Write this down. Vision is more important than leadership. I know that's provocative, but it is truth. Leadership without vision is a loud parade to nowhere. The Bible says where there is no vision, the people perish. They cast off restraint. They lose discipline. They wander. Proverbs 29-18. Vision is not optional. It is oxygen. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. God sent you to this generation with a mandate, not a hobby. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. The Hebrew word for dominion is rada, authority, to bring order, to manage outcomes, to shape environments. That means you were designed to lead, to impose meaning on moments, to refuse drift. Your assignment is to clarify and carry vision. Say it again. I am an assignment. Now say this. I lead best when I see first. Write this down. Destination precedes direction, and direction precedes decisions. You cannot set a direction without a destination, and you should not make decisions without direction. We violate this every January and every Monday. We get busy before we get clear. We glorify speed. We measure hurry. We clap for activity. But speed without destination is danger. Jesus warned us, if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Matthew 15:14. Don't follow speed. Follow vision. Fast wrong. It's not leadership. It is disaster with momentum. Some of you have been tolerating vagueness and then blaming the calendar. You say when the market shifts, when the election passes, when we get funding, when we hire more people. No. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. Write this down. Stop tolerating fog. Fog is expensive. Fog costs morale. Fog wastes payroll. Fog creates meetings that birth more meetings and still no movement. Habakkuk heard God say, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. Habakkuk 2:2. Plain means compress it, make it visible, turn it into movement. If I can't run after reading it, it is not a vision, it is a rumor. Say it with me slowly. 2026. Ready, teams? Vision first. Role second. Fruit proves leadership. We will talk about roles, we will measure fruit, but we cannot skip the first law. See it before you say it before you staff it before you scale it. Write this down. Destination before directions, directions before budgets, budgets before bodies. I have met organizations with money, platforms, and power, and they are still in the ditch because no one asks the most important question, where are we going? Don't be impressed with power. Ask where we're going. Let me be fatherly for a moment. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Jobs will change with quarters. Your work will outlive quarters. If they fire you, your gift goes with you. So stop hitching your identity to a title, anchor it to a vision. When you know the vision, you negotiate from conviction, not from fear. You set boundaries. You prioritize fruit over applause. You say no to good things so you can say yes to the right thing. Write this down. Vision authorizes no. If you can't say no, your vision is not yet your master. Vision is a picture of a preferable future that demands present behavior. It governs attitude, language, and relationships. It tells you what meetings to cancel and what conversations to escalate. It decides when to arrive and when to go home. Vision is your leader before you lead anyone. Say this out loud. I submit to vision. Why? Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. The heart is a subconscious, your autopilot. Vision programs the autopilot. If your heart is full of confusion, you will drift elegantly. If your heart is full of vision, you will course correct relentlessly. Write this down. Clarity is the economy of high performance. Nothing changes until something is clear. Nothing advances until something is defined. Nothing scales until something is simple. Look at Jesus. He carried a sentence that governed everything. The Son of Man came to seek and to save that which was lost. From that vision came strategy, teams, and fruit. He could walk away from crowds because the vision decided his use of time. That's why I say again, vision is more important than leadership. Leadership is a product of vision. Vision births leaders. Leaders steward vision. I want to confront your addiction to complexity. Complexity is a refuge for cowards who fear commitment. We hide behind 10-page statements to avoid a single sentence we can be judged by. Write this down. Compress the vision or confess you don't have one. If your team can't recite it, you haven't written it. If a new hire can't learn it by lunch, it's not plain. Habakkuk said, make it plain so they can run. Running requires air, not smoke. Give them oxygen. Power without destination is danger. Talent without destination is frustration. Money without destination is waste. An engine with no steering wheel is not a car. It's a weaponized noise machine. Some of you have horsepower, beautiful horsepower, but where are you going? Don't follow the loudest engine. Ask for the map. If the blind lead the blind, both end in a ditch. If the fast lead the fast, both end in a crash. Speed is a servant. Vision is the master. Say it with me. I lead best when I see first. Let me give you a mandate for this very hour. Before we speak about values, roles, metrics, and sprints, I want you to decide to end toleration of haze. Write this down. Schedule a vision encounter. Set aside time in the next 72 hours to answer 3 questions. Where are we going by December 2026? Who must we become to get there? What will we refuse to do on the way? That is the beginning of your dominion. Genesis says you were made in his image and likeness. That means you carry the manufacturer's intent. Vision is not your invention, it is your discovery. It is not what you want to do, it is what you were born to do. You are not an accident, you are an assignment. Your assignment is to see, then to say, then to steward. That is the order. See it in your spirit, say it with precision, steward it with courage. And when they ask you why you are so decisive, tell them because I can see. Say it again like you mean it. I lead best when I see first. Now write this final line for today. 2026 is demanding an answer from me now. Not next quarter, not when we're comfortable, now. Because movement belongs to the clear. Fruit belongs to the focused. And the future belongs to those who can see it before they step into it. Now that you can see, you must choose who will carry what you see. The next mistake leaders make is they celebrate attendance and then wonder why nothing moves, crowds clap, chords construct. My real love is people like you who believe this is for you. Write this down. Celebration does not equal construction. Applause is not execution. If you recruit hands without hearts, you will host events, not build outcomes. Look at Jesus. He loved people, but he didn't trust crowds. The scripture says Jesus would not entrust himself to them, for he knew all people. John 2:24. He fed 5,000, but he did not put 5,000 on the leadership team. He preached to multitudes, but he built with 12. And even among the 12, he invested in 3. Why? Because the future is carried by a core, not consumed by a crowd. 2026 is not asking you how many can sit in the room. It is asking you how many can carry weight. Write this down. 2026 demands a core that carries weight, not a crowd that consumes. Let me be clear and fatherly. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Say it with me. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Stop tolerating passive seats and unclear roles. Stop tolerating nods with no nails, claps with no commitments, titles with no tasks. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. If you tolerate spectators, you will train your culture to watch excellence instead of create it. If you tolerate fuzziness, you will baptize confusion and call it flexibility. The next 90 days of your destiny begin with who you keep and why. Jesus ran a selection process that offended the religious in John 6 when the teaching cut deep. From that time, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. John 6:66. He didn't chase them. He turned to the 12 and asked, will ye also go away? John 6:67. That is selection. That is clarity. He sent out the 70, but he did not build his governance on the 70. He measured who stayed when the sayings were hard and the assignments were heavy. Write this down. Attendance is not allegiance, and proximity is not participation. You don't select for comfort, you select for covenant. So here is the builder's contract. Write it word for word. 3 clauses: presence, participation, and proof. Presence. Be where the vision is being built, when it is being built, with your whole self. Not just a chair, your spirit, your attention, your preparation. Builders are early, ready, and unoffendable. Be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Participation. Speak, serve, stretch, bring your gift. Engage the tension. Builders solve, not spectate. Be doers of the word and not hearers only. James 1:22. If your voice is absent and your hands are idle, you are not part of the core. Proof. Fruit validates leadership. By their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:16. Not promises, not potential, fruit. Did value appear because you were here? Can we measure your impact without you explaining it? Faith without works is dead, James. Belief without fruit is pretense. Say it with me. Remove spectators, retain stewards, release builders. Again, louder. Remove spectators, retain stewards, release builders. Who are spectators? They consume benefits with no burden, love the environment but not the assignment, and measure meetings by snacks and seats. Who are stewards? They guard what exists, keep order, maintain lanes, and protect standards. Who are builders? They take the vision and convert it into structures, products, partnerships, and protocols. They increase capacity. They turn sentences into systems. Stewards are necessary. Spectators are costly. Builders are indispensable. Write this down. Keep the stewards, coach them into builders, bless the spectators, move them to the balcony. I can feel some of you saying, but we need numbers. No, you need a nucleus. The harvest is plentiful, the laborers are few. Luke 10:2, plenty of people, few builders. You do not need a stadium to start. You need a table of 12 with the right spirit. I learned this the hard way. I used to think multiplying chairs would multiply change. It multiplied noise. When I cut the room to a committed core, movement exploded. Why? Because agreement is acceleration. How can two walk together except they be agreed? Amos 3 contra 3. Write this down. A small aligned core will outrun a large misaligned crowd every day of the week. Selection is not rejection, it is protection. You are protecting the vision from dilution, and you are protecting people from assignments they were not graced to carry. God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. Confusion multiplies when unclear people in unclear roles make unclear decisions no more. A builder seat is a leadership seat functionally, not ceremonially. Who's the leader? No one. And everyone leads where they bring value, but not everyone sits in the core. The core is not a reward, it is a responsibility. Let me give you a filter you can use this week. Sit with each person who wants to be in the core and ask 3 questions. What part of the 2026 picture burns in you the most? That tests vision alignment. What fruit can you commit to produce by quarter, not by someday? That tests ownership. What will you stop doing to make room for this? That tests cost. Write this down. Build a sign with sacrifice. If their calendar does not change, their contribution will not either. And hear me, it is better to have an empty chair than a passive chair. An empty chair invites faith and recruitment. A passive chair inhabits a role and blocks a builder. Remove spectators, retain stewards, release builders. This is not cruelty. This is kindness to the future. This is stewardship of the mandate. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Your assignment is to select a people who can carry a picture, not just clap for it. The vision, belief, behavior pipeline begins with selection because people are pipelines. The wrong people short-circuit belief. The right people amplify it. Builders believe at the level of behavior. They turn we will into we did. They don't wait for moods. They obey metrics. They don't ask, what are we doing next? They ask, what fruit are we responsible for next? Write this down. Culture is who you keep. If you keep spectators, your velocity will match their comfort. If you keep builders, your cadence will match your clarity. So this week, identify your core, the smallest number of people necessary to make the vision inevitable. Put the builder's contract in their hands. Presence, participation, proof. Ask for signatures, not speeches. Then do the most courageous act a leader can do. Bless the crowd and build with the core. Jesus did it, you must do it. Say it with me one last time. Remove spectators, retain stewards, release builders. Because 2026 is not impressed with your audience, it is waiting on your army. And armies are not discovered, they are selected, trained, and deployed. Now let us define the thing we keep invoking, because language creates worlds. Vision is not a slogan, not a mood, not a calendar goal. Vision is a picture of a preferred future so clear it governs behavior. Now, write this down. Destination before directions. Don't tell me the route until we agree on the address. If you begin with directions, you will be busy, lost, and late. The Bible begins where leadership begins. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Design precedes assignment. The Hebrew word is radah, royal rule, the authority to bring order. God didn't start with activity. He started with image and intent. That means your true vision is not an invention. It is the revelation of original design applied to your domain. You discover where the manufacturer intended this team to take dominion, then you move in that direction with conviction. Write this down. Nothing changes until a picture rules the heart. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The heart is not your emotions. It is your subconscious autopilot. Whatever picture sits in that control room will quietly steer meetings, budgets, and mornings. If the heart holds fog, you will drift elegantly. If the heart holds a picture, you will course correct relentlessly. That is why the devil does not fear your activity. He fears your clarity. He knows once the picture rules your heart, your behavior is no longer negotiable. So how clear is clear? Let me give you the test. If a new hire cannot repeat the destination in one breath by Friday, you do not have a vision, you have poetry. If your vendor cannot draw it with a marker in 60 seconds, you are managing smoke, not stewardship. If the intern cannot explain it to her mother without your slides, you are not ready for 2026. Write this down. Compress the vision or confess you don't have one. What did I say? Compress? How? 3 artifacts that rule the room. 1 sentence, 1 page, 1 story. First, the 1 sentence destination. It must name the future state in plain language and a boundary of time. 1 sentence, not 3 commas and a semicolon. A sentence you can breathe. Example, by the 31st of December 2026, we will be the most trusted 2-4-hour home diagnostics platform in our region. delivering a 2-0-minute result with 99% accuracy to 1 million households. Now, that is a picture. It tells me what we become. What we become. Trusted platform. Who we serve. Households. What we deliver. 2-0-minute, 99% accuracy. How many? 1 million. And by when? 2026. No adjectives pretending to be strategy. A picture you can hold. Say it with me. Destination before directions. Second, the one-page map. This is not a deck. This is a table you can draw on a napkin at the airport. Top line, the sentence. Left column. The 3 or 4 irreversible outcomes that must be true by 2026. Outcomes, not activities. Right column. The non-negotiable constraints and assumptions, what you will refuse to do to arrive intact. The waypoints by quarter between now and then, big stones, not gravel. If it cannot fit on one page, you don't understand it enough to lead it. Why a page? Because vision must travel at the speed of conversation. If you need a projector to communicate destiny, you are a prisoner of your slides. Third, the 1-minute story. Humans are moved by pictures wrapped in people. Give me a story anyone in the company can tell in 60 seconds that embodies the destination. Maria is a single mother in Detroit. In 2023, she waited 5 hours in an ER with her asthmatic son. On the 12th of January, 2026, Maria taps our app. A courier arrives in 7 minutes, and 20 minutes later, she sees a green check, safe. She smiles, sends a voice note to her sister. They saved us a night and a bill. We didn't just move a metric, we moved a life. That story is your North Star with a face. If an engineer, a recruiter, and a vendor can each tell that story from memory, your vision has become flesh. John 1:14 says, and the word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Vision must become flesh in your stories so it can dwell in your halls. Say it with me. I don't manage confusion. I clarify destination again. Louder, because that confession will make you dangerous. Leaders are not traffic cops blowing whistles in chaos. Leaders are cartographers drawing the promised land so the tribe can move without you holding their hands. Who is the leader in a 2026 ready room? No one. And everyone, but above all, the picture leads. You should be able to walk out for a week and the one sentence, one page, and one story keep decisions aligned. If every decision requires your presence, you don't have a vision, you have dependency. Let me press this with a mechanical picture. An engine has pistons, plugs, belts, a $4 wire, but none of it matters without a steering wheel attached to a map in the driver's mind. Your organization is a gorgeous engine, beautiful horsepower, but where is the wheel pointed? I have sat in rooms where they argued for hours about process while the map was still blank. Write this down. Do not plan in the absence of a picture. Planning without vision is calculus in a cave. You will arrive somewhere you never wanted exactly on time. I can hear someone thinking, but what if we get the sentence wrong? You will get it wrong if you refuse to write it. You will get it right by writing, testing, compressing, and revising with humility. Habakkuk 2, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. Plain means run ready. Test your artifacts by movement. Hand the sentence to a new hire on Monday. Ask them Friday to repeat it. No slides, one breath. Hand the page to a vendor on Zoom. Ask them to draw it on a napkin. Tell the story to your board. Ask them to retell it at dinner without losing the point. If they stumble, don't blame them. Fix the picture. Now, listen carefully. Vision is the governor of behavior, not the mascot of meetings. If the picture is clear, it will change how you hire, what you cancel, where you say no, and when you go home. It decides the difference between activity and advance. It strips the calendar of vanity. It exposes the unnecessary. Jesus lived like this. His sentence governed his schedule. The Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which was lost. Because the picture rule is hard. He could leave a crowd and walk to a well for one woman. Movement by picture, not by pressure. I want to give you an assignment you can do in the next 72 hours. Sit alone with the manufacturer. Ask, what is the destination you designed us to deliver by December 2026? Write the sentence, then build a page, then craft a story. Stand up in front of the team and say, this is where we are going. This is what we will not tolerate. This is why it matters. Then administer the test, the one breath test, the drawing test, the retell test. If it fails, you are not a failure. You are a steward. Compress again. The world you lead does not need more noise. It needs a picture. Your people are not lazy. They're looking for a horizon. Your vendors are not adversaries. They're allies waiting for a sketch. Your heart is not weak. It is waiting to be ruled by a picture worthy of your hours. Write this down. Vision is a ruling picture. Compress it to a sentence, a page, and a story so it can lead decisions at every level. And say it one more time. So your spirit hears your mouth. I don't manage confusion. I clarify destination. When that becomes your reflex, 2026 will not surprise you. It will salute you. You have the picture. Now we must protect the picture at speed. A highway without lane lines is a death trap when you press the accelerator. Values are the lane lines. They are belief made visible so you can move faster without dying sooner. Write this down. Values are invisible, rails break them, and the train leaves the track. What did I say? Rails, invisible, but real. The Bible says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Your heart is your belief center, your subconscious autopilot. If we don't guard the heart of the organization with codified values, your speed will become your enemy. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. Attitude governs action. Belief sets the organizational speed limit. This is why teams with brilliant resumes crash under pressure. Gifts open doors. Values keep them open. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Renewing is relaning. Transformation is installing rails in your unseen world so your seen world stops swerving. Say it with me. Our values are our lanes. Our speed is our belief. Again, louder. Because speed is not the problem. Sloppiness is. The Autobahn is not dangerous because of speed. It is safe because of discipline. Limits in the mind become limits in the mile. Values remove fear, not by praying for miracles, but by putting belief into repeatable behaviors that make safety predictable at speed. Values are not words on a wall. They are decisions on Tuesday. They are not adjectives. They are adjudications. Character is values kept under pressure. Daniel prospered in a foreign system because he purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. Daniel 1-8. He converted belief into lines he would not cross and habits he would not break. And God promoted him because conviction makes you trustworthy. If you don't codify your team's convictions, the loudest personality will write your culture in pencil and crisis will erase it. Write this down. Unspoken values are replaced by urgent emotions. How do we move values from poetry to policy? Convert ideals to behaviors. For each value, define 3 do's and 3 don'ts. Observable, coachable, non-negotiable. Not vibes. Not moods, behaviors. Let me model it. Truth over comfort. Do. 1. Surface risk within 24 hours of discovery. No waiting for the meeting. 2. Bring data before opinions, numbers first, narrative second. Publish decisions with the reason and the owner within 2 hours of the meeting's end. Don't triangulate, no side conversations to avoid direct feedback. 2. Surprise people in public, no ambushes. 3. Spin numbers, no selective screenshots, no vanity metrics. That's a value you can coach. You can see it, teach it, measure it, and if necessary, discipline it. Another example, value speed with safety. Do 1 ship in small slices every week, no quarterly dumps. 2, document rollback plans. Before release, safety first. Declare and test the worst case scenario on a whiteboard. Fear leaves when facts leave. Don't. 1. Pass silent blockers. Raise your hand within 24 hours. Ship without a second set of eyes. Peer review required. Skip post-release instrumentation. If you can't see it, you didn't ship it. Now, a human-centered one. Value. Honor people. Start and end on time. Honor is a clock. 2. Credit others publicly and correct privately. Close the loop. Every request gets a response within 24 hours. Even if it's, I'm on it, don't one-mark ideas, no sarcasm as sport. Email wars. No threads beyond 3 replies. Move to a call. Schedule after hours. Work without consent and a sunset clause. That is how belief becomes lane lines. Your interns and your executives can both drive in. Now install values in your decision points, or they are not values, they are decor. Hiring, interview for values before skills. Create questions that force stories, not slogans. Tell me about the last time you raised an uncomfortable risk in a room that didn't want to hear it. What was the outcome? Then check references for alignment, not flattery. Would you rehire them? Why? What values were they famous for breaking or keeping? Firing misalignment with values after clear coaching is a kindness to the future. A false balance is abomination to the Lord. Proverbs 11:1. If integrity is non-negotiable, then gifted liars don't belong on your payroll. Promotion, reward fruit that matches values, not just volume. He that is faithful in little is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. Elevate those who keep the lanes while increasing speed, not the reckless sprinters who leave debris. Procurement. Make vendors partners in your values. Put your do's and don'ts into your service agreements. If truth over comfort is a value, require transparent reporting and shared dashboards. If speed with safety is a value, mandate rollback plans in their statements of work. Meetings, values must open the room and close the room. Read one value aloud. Ask, which behavior will we practice in this meeting? Post it on the wall. When someone drifts, point to the lane line, not to their personality. That makes correction depersonalized and dignified. Say it again. Our values are our lanes. Our speed is our belief. Let me be fatherly. If you must choose between talent and values, choose values every time. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Your work cannot be protected by talent alone. Values preserve your work when storms hit and critics bark. Israel left Egypt in a day, but Egypt left Israel in 40 years because values weren't codified into daily behavior. Deliverance gets you out. Values get Egypt out of you. You ain't free yet until your habits match your horizon. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. And as a team thinks in his heart, so it ships, so it hires, so it spins. Write this down. Culture is enforced belief. You do not have a culture you are unwilling to correct. Install a monthly values audit. Pick one value per month. Ask 3 questions. Where did we live it? Where did we break it? Where must we coach it? Then take action within 7 days, training, praise, or pruning. Values without consequences are suggestions. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Stop tolerating lane drift. The future's coming at highway speed. Here is your 72-hour assignment. Gather your core. Name 5 to 7 values that will guard the 2026 journey. For each, write 3 do's and 3 don'ts. Print them on 1 page. Teach them in 1 story. Add them to offer letters, vendor agreements, promotion criteria, and meeting agendas. Announce them publicly to the team. These are our rails. These are our lanes. We will be kind, but we will be clear. Then, with courage and love, begin to coach and, if necessary, to prune. The picture demands it. 2026 will not bless confusion at high speed. Say it with me one last time so your spirit hears your mouth. Our values are our lanes. Our speed is our belief. When belief is coded into behavior, alignment becomes protection and speed becomes safe. And when the picture and the lanes agree, the journey stops being stressful and starts being inevitable. Now that the picture rules the room, we must build the parts that will carry it. Structure is not bureaucracy. Structure is stewardship. Write this down. Vision is the steering wheel. Roles are the engine parts. And fruit is the proof that the engine moves. If you design the parts well, the picture becomes motion without you pushing the car. If you skip the parts, you will stand in front of a gorgeous vehicle with no ignition, shouting at it like a religious service. No more shouting. We are building. Let me take you under the hood. I love engines because engines don't lie. Pistons, plugs, belts, pumps, a little wire. You forget everything matters. Who's the leader in an engine? Ask it with me. Who's the leader? No one and everyone. The piston leads when it compresses. The spark plug leads when it ignites. The oil pump leads every second by preventing death. The brake line leads when danger appears. A $4 wire corroded at the terminal can silence a 12-cylinder masterpiece. We will tell that story in a moment, but hear the principle now. The smallest part can stop everything. Write this down. Importance is contextual. Interdependence is constant. The scripture agrees. For the body is not one member, but many. If the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary. 1 Corinthians 12, 14, 22. Paul used the body. I am using the engine. Same revelation. Distributed functional leadership. Everyone is a leader in their function. The eye does not manage the liver. The liver does not vote on the knee. The head gives direction, but the members lead within their design. That is order, that is speed. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Write this down again so your philosophy changes. Importance is contextual. Interdependence is constant. In a storm, the wipers are in charge. On a mountain, the transmission is king. At start, the battery speaks. At 90 miles per hour, the tires become governors of life and death. Context decides who leads for the moment. Interdependence keeps the whole from pride. Translated, do not rank people, define functions. Do not worship departments, design interfaces. Do not centralize authority to soothe your insecurity. Distribute leadership to match design. How do we build this? Role charters. Not vague job descriptions that make everybody busy. Charters that make value inevitable. A role charter is the part manual for a human function. 4 elements. Write them down and do not negotiate with them. Purpose, why this part exists. If you cannot state the purpose in one sentence, you don't know what the role is for. Outputs. Fruit you can measure without a meeting, not activities. Fruit. Interfaces. Who this part connects to, upstream and downstream, with clear handoffs defined. Failure modes. What shuts the engine down when this roll breaks, and what early warnings tell us it's breaking. Let me show you how this sounds under the hood and in your hall. Under the hood, oil pump. Purpose, maintain continuous lubrication to prevent friction and seizure. Outputs, 40, 60 pounds per square inches, stable oil pressure across operating range. Interfaces, oil pan, filter, bearings, pressure sensor to dashboard. Failure modes, low pressure light on, temperature spikes, engine seizure, catastrophic. In your hall, customer success lead. Purpose, maintain customer health to prevent churn and increase lifetime value. Outputs, net revenue retention is greater than 110%. Time to resolution is less than 4 hours. Quarterly expansions per cohort. That's interfaces, sales, product feedback loop, finance billing alignment, failure modes, rise and churn, negative NPS, silent escalations, high cost rework, catastrophic. Do you see it? The same logic translated, decency and order. Write this down. Design the role before you hire the soul. Titles are costumes. Charters are function. If you design around a personality, you will inherit their moods. If you design around purpose, you will inherit fruit. By their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:16. Fruits are the outputs in the charter. If a role cannot show fruit, it is not a leadership seat, it is an expense. And remember, leadership in this house is functional. I don't need a title to confirm the leader. I look for fruit. Interfaces are where engines live or die. Most organizations don't fail inside roles, they fail between roles. Write this down. Define the handshake. Who hands what to whom, by when, in what format, with what acceptance criteria. This is where your one-page map meets human behavior. Sales hands, marketing, a clear ideal customer profile. Marketing hands, sales a 70% fit lead with data. Sales hands, delivery a signed scope with no fog. Delivery hands, finance a clean completion signal. Finance hands, leadership the margin truth without makeup. If any handshake is sloppy, friction becomes heat, and heat becomes failure. Ephesians 4:16 says, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth. Joints are interfaces. Fitly joined means handoffs, engineered. Failure modes require humility. Before you launch, ask each role to list 3 ways they can shut the engine down. Not to shame them, but to design safeguards. What early warning lights can we install? What's the safe mode if this fails? Who is the backup? Where is the $4 wire equivalent in this function? Say it with me. Fear leaves when facts lead. We will talk about constraint removal, but the first act of courage is to admit where fragility lives and wire in monitors. Proverbs says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. Proverbs 22:3. Prudence is pre-mortem. Wisdom is redundancy. Some of you are nervous. If everyone leads, won't there be chaos? No, chaos is what you have when titles pretend and functions are vague. When roles are clear, authority is obvious. When outputs are measured, ego is quieted. When interfaces are engineered, meetings get shorter and movement gets faster. Distributed does not mean undisciplined. It means authority follows assignment. Moses learned this the hard way. Jethro said, provide out of all the people able men, and place such over them rulers of thousands and hundreds, 50s and 10s. Exodus 18:21. Why? To match weight to grace, to distribute load to function. That is not hierarchy for pride. That is function for flow. Now, practical cadence. In the next 7 days, gather your core and lay the engine on the table. Identify the 5 critical flows that move your 2026 sentence. Demand, delivery, cash, culture, and data. For each flow, draft role charters with the 4 elements: purpose, outputs, interfaces, failure modes. Keep them on one page. If it can't fit, you don't understand it yet. Test each charter by asking, can a new builder know if they succeeded without a meeting? If the answer is no, compress until the answer is yes. Then install the handshakes, SLA level clarity without legal paragraph. Finally, do the humility drill. Where is the $4 wire? Install an alert, assign a backup, place a spare on the shelf. Say it with me, everyone leads in their function, no one. And everyone, again, louder until your culture hears you. Everyone leads in their function, no one. And everyone, who's the leader in this team? No one and everyone. If that offends you, you are addicted to rank, not to results. In the 2026 Ready House, rank bows to role and role bows to vision. We don't salute titles, we salute fruit. This is not theory. This is how you remove bottlenecks that you have been praying about but tolerating. This is how you make speed safe. This is how you turn your picture into predictable cadence. When each part knows its purpose, delivers its outputs, honors its interfaces, and admits its failure modes, acceleration becomes normal. And when the light flickers on your dashboard, you don't panic. You fix the smallest constraint first. Remember the principle. A $4 wire can stop $1 million machine. We will go there. For now, build the charters. Write this final line today. Structure that serves vision creates freedom. Structure that replaces vision creates prison. We choose freedom by function. We choose speed by clarity. Design the parts, install the handshakes, honor the fruit. And when they ask, who's the leader here? Smile and say, no one and everyone. Because in this house, leadership is where value is created, and value is created everywhere the picture is obeyed. Our lanes are drawn. Now we must prove we are moving. God is not confused about how he measures. Jesus said, by their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:16. Not by their noise, not by their narratives. Fruit, write this down. Fruit is evidence. Titles are decorations. I have met men with rings on their fingers and dust on their trees. God inspects branches, not business cards. John 15:8, herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, so shall ye be my disciples. Glory is attracted to fruit, not to press releases. If you want heaven's endorsement on a 2026 ready team, install the fear of fruit and the joy of proof. This is where gift and work become governance. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Leadership emerges when your gift is deployed in service. So we must align what we count with what you were created to contribute. Who's the leader? No one and everyone. Everyone leads where they bring value. That means each role must define its fruit by function, not by fantasy. A gardener is not praised for singing. He is praised for gardens. A CFO is not crowned for attendance. She is crowned for stewardship that multiplies and protects. The parable of the talents is not about fairness. It is about fruitfulness. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Matthew 25-21. Rulership follows measurable multiplication. Write this down. Define fruit in 4 dimensions: product, process, people, and perception. Product answers. What appeared? Is there a new feature live? A contract signed? A prototype that works under load? Put a number beside each. Ship slices per week, defects per 1,000 units, revenue per product line, adoption within 30 days. Process answers: how fast and how efficiently did value move? Cycle time from idea to release, cost per transaction, on-time delivery rate, first-time pass yield. If your process is slow, your engine is sick, no matter how beautiful the paint. People answers: who grew because you were here? New leaders certified, skills advanced, internal promotions from your bench, voluntary turnover in your lane. Leadership multiplies leaders. If your garden is barren of successors, you are a bottleneck, not a leader. Perception answers. What do customers and partners now trust us to do? Net trust score after incidents, complaint resolution time, percentage of customers who recommend unprompted vendor satisfaction with collaboration. Favor is a fruit. Trust is a measurable asset. Now listen carefully. Lag metrics tell you what happened. Lead metrics tell you what you must do. Most teams drown in lags and starve in leads. They wait for the quarterly autopsy while the patient is bleeding on Tuesday. Say this softly, then loudly. Lead before lag. Lead metrics are behaviors under your control that predict the harvest. Examples: customer discovery calls per week, prototypes tested with users by Friday, ratio of block tasks to raise hand within 24 hours, peer reviews completed before noon, training hours invested in your next in line this month, daily time to respond under 10 minutes to priority clients. These are levers. If you pull them, fruit follows. Lag metrics validate that you were not lying. Revenue, churn, uptime, cost of goods sold, yield, NPS. You need both. But sequence is salvation. Lead first, lag next, then adjust leads again. Write this down. No story without a number, no number without an owner, no owner without a date. That is your accountability chain. If someone brings you a paragraph without a measure, they have brought you perfume with no bottle, it evaporates. If a number has no name, it is an orphan, it will not grow. If an owner has no date, it is a dream, your calendar will assassinate it. We are not being harsh, we are being holy about the future. Psalm 90:12 says, so teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Wisdom counts, wisdom dates, wisdom names. Let's sample a roll so you see how fruit defeats titles. For a product manager, product 2, customer visible improvements shipped per week. Process cycle time from commit to live under 48 hours. People 2, cross-functional teammates mentored per quarter with documented skill gains. Perception post-release user satisfaction 4, 5, 5 within 7 days. For a sales lead, product pipeline qualified above X with Y% conversion. Process average sales cycle reduced by Z days. People 1 rep promoted from your pod each quarter. Perception 2 referenceable clients per month who will take a call for an operations lead. Product incidents per 1,000 transactions below target. Process order to cash time down 20%. People succession plan with name backup who can run the shift. Perception vendor scorecards at or above 90%. For HR, product time to hire cut by 30% with quality measured by 6-month ramp success. Process offer cycle under 5 days. People managers trained and certified in feedback. Perception employee trust pulse at 80% with open comments addressed within a week. Do you feel it? Fruit makes leadership visible and position irrelevant. Now, install rhythm. Metrics without cadence are museum pieces. Build a weekly 30-minute fruit stand-up. 4 columns on the wall or the dashboard. Product, process, people, perception. Each owner brings 2 leads and 1 lag, colored by reality. Green, yellow, red, no essays. No excuses, just this. What did we commit? What did we do? What fruit appeared? What will we change by Friday? Then pray like Nehemiah, short and focus, and go back to work. And once a month, run a fruit review anchored in John 15:2. Every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Pruning is not punishment. It is preparation for more. Cancel efforts that produce noise. Double down on flows that produce value. Reassign talent from barren soil to fertile fields. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. Stop tolerating fruitless busyness in the name of being supportive. Beware of vanity. Meetings attended is not fruit. Emails sent is not fruit. Hours online is not fruit. Slide counts are not fruit. These are costumes. Titles are decorations. Write this down. What you celebrate, you replicate. What you measure, you multiply. What you ignore, you teach people to neglect. If you celebrate attendance, you will build a theater. If you celebrate fruit, you will build a garden. James 2:18 says, shew me thy faith without thy works, and I will shew thee my faith by my works. Stop praising potential without proof. Affirm effort, yes, but reward value created, not motion displayed. Say it with me. If it doesn't bear fruit, it doesn't lead. Again, louder. If it doesn't bear fruit, it doesn't lead. Let that sentence police your calendars and purify your promotions. Install it on offer letters and performance reviews. When someone asks, how am I doing? Pull up the 4 dimensions. When someone wants a title, pull up the tree. By their fruits ye shall know them. Start with gift. Seat them by what they were born to do. Set lead behaviors that honor the gift daily. Track lags that confirm the gift is multiplying. Coach with love. Prune with courage. And remember, you are not an accident. You are an assignment. Your assignment is to make fruit inevitable and titles irrelevant. When fruit governs your house, 2026 will not be a date on a slide. It will be a harvest in your hands. We have the picture. We have the lanes. We have the parts. Now we must make them move together without you standing over them like a traffic cop. Write this down. The operating system of a 2026 ready team is a pipeline. vision to belief, to behavior, to fruit. If you cannot see the flow, you cannot lead the flow. If the flow is not rhythmic, performance will be accidental. And we don't lead for accidents. We lead for inevitability. Let me lay the frame in one sentence. Write this down and say it out loud. Vision shapes values. Values script behaviors. Behaviors produce fruit. Again, slower. Let it settle in your bones. Vision shapes values. Values script behaviors. Behaviors produce fruit. That is the pipeline. That is the order of heaven. Genesis 1:26, design before dominion. Belief governs life. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Doing confirms believing. Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. James 1:22. Fruit validates leadership. By their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:16. God's system has always been picture, conviction, action, evidence. We are just putting engineering language to what Scripture has preached for millennia. Now we will install rhythm, because nothing becomes culture until it becomes cadence. Say it with me. Clarity to cadence to consistency to compound. Again, louder. Clarity to cadence to consistency to compound. Compounding is not magic. It is consistency multiplied by time. Galatians 6-9 promises, in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Due season is the child of cadence, not coincidence. Here is the cadence. Quarterly vision rehearsal, monthly values calibration, weekly role sync, daily fruit check. That's the metronome. That's how you move from inspiration to inevitability. Quarterly vision rehearsal first. Every 90 days, stand the tribe up and rehearse the destination in 3 artifacts. The one sentence, the one page, the one story. Not a party, a rehearsal. Why? Because if the trumpet gives an uncertain sound, who will prepare for battle? 1 Corinthians 14:8. Your people are not lazy. They are waiting for a clear note. In this rehearsal, you do 3 things. First, you read the sentence in one breath without apology. Second, you walk the one page with updated waypoints and constraints. What moved? What did we learn? Where did we say no? Third, you tell the 1-minute story with a fresh face. Maria may now be Malik. The picture stays, the face changes. Then, and this is crucial, you test for transfer. Turn to a random intern, a vendor, a manager. Ask them to repeat the sentence, draw the page on a napkin, retell the story. If they cannot, do not blame them. Fix the clarity. Habakkuk 2:2 again. Write it plain that he may run that reads it. Plain is run ready, not poet pretty. Quarterly, you reset the compass so the next 90 days are run, not roam. Monthly values calibration. Belief is the heart. Monthly is the heartbeat. The Hebrew word for heart is leb, the control center of life. If the heart is off, the hands will sin. So once a month, you take one value and you calibrate it. How? 3 questions, and we already practiced them. Where did we live it? Where did we break it? Where must we coach it? Then you act within 7 days. Praise where kept. Train where confused. Prune where defied. Read Proverbs 4:23 out loud in that meeting. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Keeping is a verb. Diligence is a schedule. You engrave the do's and don'ts on the wall of the month, and you select one story, internal or customer, where that value saved speed or prevented damage. Values are not vibes. They are verifiable. Monthly, you keep the rails true, so speed stays safe. Weekly rolls sync. Rolls are parts, sync is timing. Engines do not produce power because parts exist. They produce power because parts are synchronized. So each week, every flow, demand, delivery, cash, culture, data hosts a 30-minute roll sync. This is not a status parade. Write this down. A roll sync is for interfaces, exceptions, and early warnings. 3 questions govern the half hour. 1, did every handshake fire as designed? Name the upstream and downstream, the what, the when, the format. If not, what failed acceptance? 2, what exceptions appeared? Exceptions are the places where reality violated the script. Decide a fast fix and a root cause owner. 3, what are the early warnings and $4 wires we see? Surface the smallest constraints. Now fear leaves when facts lead. Assign a backup and a shelf spare where necessary. Close with a readout of outputs versus targets for the roles present. Did we create fruit or just motion? Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Weekly, you keep order in motion. Daily fruit check. Fruit is not quarterly. Fruit is daily bread. Jesus said, herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. John 15:8. Much fruit comes from abiding, and abiding looks like a daily check of what matters most. 5 minutes per team. At the start of the day or at the end, you look at 3 numbers tied to your charted outputs, not 20 dashboards that anesthetize, 3 numbers that tell truth. Did we retain 110%? Did we ship the slice we promised? Did we collect cash within terms? If a number is red, one owner declares one next action before noon, no blame, no speeches. Only ownership and movement. If you can't see it, you didn't do it. If you can't measure it, you can't lead it. Daily, you tell the truth, so drift dies early. To make this visible and not virtual, you must build the pipeline board. Write this down. If the flow isn't on the wall, the fog will be in the hall. The pipeline board is the instrument panel of your house. 4 swim lanes labeled clearly. Vision, values, roles, fruit. Across the top, your cadence, quarter, month, week, day. In each cell, you place the artifact, the ritual, the owner, and the next date. Vision, quarter, the sentence, page, story, owner, CEO. Next, June 30. Values, month. Name, value with do's, don'ts, owner, people, lead. Next, April 15. Roles, week, interfaces to review. Owner, flow lead. Next, Monday, 9 a.m. Fruit day. The 3 numbers. Owner, team lead. Next, tomorrow, 9 a.m. Now add a 5th lane. Blockers. Any person in the company can pin a blocker card to that lane with 3 fields. Where in the pipeline it sits, what $4 wire it might be, and who owns the next action by when. Use colors if you like. Green moving, yellow slowed, red blocked, but never let a red card live more than 48 hours without a clear owner and a timestamped next move. You are not building a mural, you are building a metronome. Someone says, isn't this too rigid? No, this is freedom. Remember, structure that serves vision creates freedom. Structure that replaces vision creates prison. The pipeline board serves the picture. It tells the truth without you preaching. It allows leaders to emerge by fruit, not by volume. It protects values from personalities. It trains new builders faster than orientations. It silences confusion with cadence. If the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Matthew 15:14. The board keeps eyes open. The cadence keeps feet from ditches. Let me pastor you for a moment. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. You were not born to chase people for updates. You were born to steward a vision until it produces fruit that feeds nations. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Leaders don't seek followers. They create flow, and fruit attracts. Lions don't negotiate with elephants. Their belief interprets size as lunch. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. This pipeline is how you disciple mentality into motion. It trains hearts to act, not just to hope. Toleration is the graveyard of leaders. Stop tolerating fog, install flow. Here is the immediate deployment. In the next 48 hours, draft your first pipeline board on a wall everyone passes. Schedule your first quarterly rehearsal, even if the quarter started yesterday. Name your next monthly value and write its 3 do's and 3 don'ts where people can see them. Lock the weekly 30-minute roll sync in calendars for each flow and enforce the 3 questions. Start tomorrow with a 5-minute fruit check, 3 numbers, 1 next action. Then inspect the board daily at noon. If a card is red and ownerless, you take the pen and assign it. Why? Leadership is born when toleration ends. Say it with me one last time. Clarity to cadence, to consistency to compound. Again, with conviction. Clarity to cadence, to consistency to compound. When the flow from vision to fruit is explicit and rhythmic, performance becomes predictable, peace returns to your mornings, and 2026 stops being a date on a poster and starts being a demand you are already meeting. Write this down. Make the pipeline visible, make the rhythm non-negotiable, and the fruit will make the case. And when someone asks you, how are you so consistent? You can smile and say, we don't chase outcomes, we steward a pipeline. The picture rules, the lanes guard, the parts lead, and the fruit proves. Let me take you under the hood for a moment. Years ago, a friend brought me a beautiful machine, a 12-cylinder beast that should have roared like a lion. It would start, cough, then die. He had already replaced the fuel pump, expensive. New spark plugs, expensive. Even swapped the control module, very expensive. Nothing. He was ready to rebuke the engine, call it a lemon, pronounce judgment, and sell it for parts. I called an old Bahamian mechanic who didn't have a fancy shop, just a wise head and two good ears. He opened the bonnet, did not touch the big parts, and started at the smallest, cheapest connections. He wiggled a little terminal wire by the battery. Corroded green with envy of the power, it was starving. He cleaned it, cut a fresh tip, crimped on a new terminal, $4, and tightened it. Try it, he said. The engine woke up like Lazarus. No cough, just cadence. Write this down. Importance is contextual. Interdependence is constant. A $4 wire can silence $1 million engine. Now hear the revelation. Don't rebuke the engine, replace the wire. Diagnose before you discipline. Most leaders rebuke systems because they don't know how to think like mechanics. We hold all hands meetings. We shout at departments. We fast for 40 days. And then we discover the landing page had a broken submit button for 3 weeks. We blame the sales team while an expired SSL certificate blocks checkout. We shame engineering while a permissions toggle in the deployment pipeline is set to deny. We fire a manager while the invoice link in the email template points to a sandbox. Little foxes spoil the vines. Song of Solomon 2:15. Small things stop harvests. Write this down. Fear leaves when facts lead, and facts begin with diagnosis. The scripture warns us, he that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. Proverbs 18:13. That's diagnosis before discipline. Joshua's army lost to a tiny town, not because God was weak, but because a small violation halted a great machine. One man's hidden act jammed a nation's momentum. That story is not to terrify you. It is to train you. Locate the constraint. Deal with it precisely. Restore flow. God's first question to Adam was not an accusation. It was diagnostic. Where art thou? Locate before you lecture. Say it with me. Don't rebuke the engine, replace the wire. Here's your mechanic's method constraint mapping. So you stop breaking expensive parts while the cheap fix mocks you. Step 1, list system outcomes. Write down the flows that matter. Demand qualified leads to close deals. Delivery idea to live product. Cash invoice to money received. Culture promise to behavior. And data evantuation. Don't write activities. Write outcomes that should be flowing today. Step 2, map parts. Under each outcome, list the specific roles, tools, and artifacts that move it. Be concrete. Pricing page, CRM integration, release gate, invoice PDF, SLA response bot. Step 3, trace interfaces. Handshakes are where the demons hide. Who hands what to whom, in what format, by when, with what acceptance criteria. Step 4, test the cheapest fix first. Tug the wire before you pull the engine. Check the toggle, the API key, the DNS record, the webhook queue, the permission in the CI pipeline. the date on the certificate, the link in the template, the delimiter in the CSV. Put eyes on the $4 parts. Step 5, instrument and spare. When you find the wire, add a monitor, stock a spare, and document the fix in one sentence and one screenshot. Make the cheap thing visible and repeatable. Write this down. Small parts, big stops, quick fixes, move on. Say it with me. Small parts, big stops, quick fixes, move on. Again, louder until your culture hears you. Small parts, big stops, quick fixes, move on. That sentence will save you months of drama and millions in waste. When a flow stalls, your first instinct must be humility, not hostility. Inquiry, not indictment. James 1:19 says, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Swift to hear is diagnostic, slow to wrath is disciplined leadership. We must also build a culture where the wire can confess without fear. No blame, only build. If a junior engineer believes a missed toggle will get them shame, they will hide the toggle and let the $1 million campaign die. If the AP clerk is terrified to admit the invoice template is broken, your DSO will balloon while everyone pretends to lean in. He that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsaketh shall have mercy. Proverbs 28-13. That's not just personal holiness, that's organizational health. Create a rule in your house. Candor is honored. Concealment is costly. We don't punish truth, we promote it. Confess fast, fix cheap, teach all, move on. No scarlet letters for $4 mistakes, just better checklists and brighter monitors. Give you some real world wires so you train your eyes, demand flow, demo bookings collapse. Before you rebuke marketing, check the calendar link. Did the time zone change? Is the anti-spam filter blocking the confirmation email? Delivery, flow, releases halted. Before you escalate to the board, check if one environment variable changed during a security patch. Cash flow, collections slow. Before you accuse customers, click the pay now button. Does it 404 on mobile? Did the ACH microdeposits email get filtered to promotions? Culture flow. People are not responding. Before you preach fire, check if your Slack status message norm is missing. No visibility, no reply. Data flow. NPS shows 0. Before you mourn, confirm the survey is still pointed at the production database, not staging. Say it with me. Test the cheapest fix first. Ecclesiastes 10:10 says, if the iron be blunt and he do not whet the edge, then must he put to more strength. But wisdom is profitable to direct. When the axe is dull, fools swing harder. The wise sharpen for pennies. Your dull axe is a corroded terminal. Stop swinging meetings at it. Sharpen with a continuity test and a checklist. Wisdom is profitable because it replaces force with flow. Install a daily and weekly ritual around this. Daily, a 10-minute flow check. Owners of each outcome declare green, yellow, or red. If red, we apply the wire protocol, identify the smallest, cheapest, nearest to hand fix, and test it before noon. If the red turns green, we document and celebrate the confession, not the heroics. Weekly, a 30-minute constraint review. Pick one outcome that struggled. Map parts, trace interfaces, list wires found, assign instrumentation. And by reading John 8:32, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Freedom is flow. Truth is diagnosis. Fear leads when facts lead. Let me be fatherly. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. If you tolerate blame storms, you will breed cover-ups and expensive failures. If you celebrate fast confession and cheap fixes, you will build a fearless engine. Leadership is born when toleration ends. In the toleration of theatrical outrage, in the toleration of mystical explanations, in the toleration of as complicated as a smokescreen. Write this down. Complicated is often a camouflage for a corroded connection. Pull the cover, find the wire, replace it. Here is your 24-hour assignment. Choose one stalled outcome. Gather the owners for 30 minutes. Map the parts on one sheet. Trace 2 interfaces. Test 3 cheap fixes by lunch. Publish the truth by 3 p.m. what the wire was, how you replaced it, what you instrumented, and who to thank for the candor. Close the day with this declaration. Say it with me. Small parts, big stops, quick fixes, move on. Because you are not an accident. You are an assignment to remove fear with facts, to restore flow with wisdom, and to make speed safe by honoring the smallest parts that carry the greatest power. We fix the wire, now seek the parts. Hear me, the fastest way to slow a great engine is to bolt the wrong part in the right place. From this moment, we move from employment to deployment. Employment fills seats. Deployment fills assignments. Jesus never built payrolls. He built purpose. And he called unto him whom he would, that he might send them forth. Mark 3:13-14. Call, then send. Purpose, then placement. Write this down. Assignment before arrangement. Role design follows purpose discovery. If you reverse that order, you will pay people to suffocate. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. If they fire you, your gift goes with you. Don't hire hands, deploy gifts. Let me father you. Gifts are heaven's delivery system. A man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. The room is not made by your resume. The room is carved by your gift. Romans 12:6 says, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us. Differing means don't clone, deploy diversity. Grace means the gift is not earned, it's entrusted. As every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another. 1 Peter 4:10. Minister is a verb. Serve the gift, don't store it. Write this down. Your organization is a body, not a bucket. 1 Corinthians 12:18. Now hath God set the members, every one of them, in the body as it hath pleased him. Set means seat. God seats by design. We too often seat by vacancy. Stop seating by vacancy. Start seating by vision. How do we discover gifts without guesswork and goosebumps? Use tools. Write this down. Fruit history, joy index, peer witness. Fruit history. Where did you produce repeatedly, independent of title? Not where you were present, where you created value that others could measure. Pull the last 3 years. What projects came alive when you touched them? What outcomes stayed green because you were nearby? By their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:16. Joy index. What work energizes you even when it's hard? Where do you lose track of time? Because meaning outpaces minutes. Joy is not indulgence, it's alignment. The Hebrew for delight in Psalm 37:4 speaks of pliability. When you delight, God shapes. Peer witness. What do others request from you without HR's permission? If people keep slipping you the same problem, they are testifying about your gift. Write this down. Your gift is what you do the best with the least effort and the most effect. Listen to the fruit. Listen to your joy. Listen to the witnesses. Once discovered, you do not toss gifts into old boxes. You craft deployment charters. Say it slow. Deployment charter. This is not a job description that lists tasks. This is a mandate that sets a leader free by fruit. 4 components. Write this down. 1, mandate. Why does this role exist? Put it in 1 sentence tied to the vision. 2, boundaries. What is the playing field? Name the budget envelope, the domains, the no-fly zones. 3, autonomy levels. What can be decided without permission? Where is counsel required? Where's approval non-negotiable? Autonomy is not anarchy, it is delegated dominion. 4, fruit indicators. What 3 numbers prove leadership? Not activity fruit. Retain 110%. Ship on time with error rate below 0.5%. Collect cash in 21 days net. When the fruit is clear, freedom is safe. Say it with me. Autonomy measured by fruit. Let me give you a picture. We had a young woman, Aisha, employed in accounts payable, faithful, on time, quiet. But her fruit history showed something unusual. Every time a new vendor system came in, she learned it first, cleaned the data, and trained the room without being asked. Her joy index spiked when she was mapping messy processes. Peer witness, people lined up at her desk for how do we, not can you cut a check. We rewrote the arrangement to match the assignment deployment charter, vendor flow architect. Mandate, make money flow frictionless between us and partners. Boundaries, procurement to settlement, autonomy, change forms and micro policies up to X, recommend contract changes, approval for over Y. Fruit onboarding time from 21 days to 5. Invoice error rate under 0.3%. Vendor NPS above 60. In 90 days, we didn't get a better AP clerk. We got a leader who made cash arrive faster. Who's the leader? No one and everyone. Everyone is a leader in their area of functioning once deployed. This is why I warn you about worshiping titles. Titles are arrangements. Gifts are assignments. If they fire you, your gift goes with you. That's why Joseph could lead in prison, in Potiphar's house, and in Pharaoh's palace. Genesis 39 keeps repeating, and the Lord was with Joseph and made all that he did to prosper. Prosper is fruit. Deployment is not where you sit, it's what you serve. Say it with me, I am not employed, I am deployed. Again, like a revelation, I am not employed, I am deployed. You are not an accident, you are an assignment. Write this down. Stop interviewing for compliance. Start interviewing for calling. In your next hiring cycle, don't ask first, can you do the task? Ask, what is the work you were born to do and where has it produced? Stop reading bullet points that flatter. Ask for fruit that testifies. Then align compensation to the mandate and calibrate autonomy to demonstrated fruit. Leaders don't seek followers, fruit attracts. When a person is deployed, they do not need supervision, they need a scoreboard. I feel an urgency on this. Within 48 hours, run a deployment clinic. Gather your core builders, not spectators. Step 1, assign each person to complete a 1-page gift portrait by tomorrow noon, fruit history, 3 projects with outcomes, joy index, top 5, energizing tasks, ranked. Peer witness, 10 peers answer, what do you always ask me for? Step 2, meet for 90 minutes. For each person, read the portrait aloud, circle patterns. Ask, what mandate does this reveal? Step 3, draft a deployment charter on the spot mandate, boundaries, autonomy levels, fruit indicators. Step 4, seat them by gift. Some will move chairs, others will change lanes. Step 5, bless and send. Jesus sent them 2 by 2 with power and instructions, Luke 10:1-9. Do the same pair complementary gifts, give them a house to heal, a city to reach, and a report to bring back in 7 days. Then review fruit in 30 days and adjust boundaries, not identity, assignment before arrangement. Culture warning, religious minds will fight this. They love roles more than results. They prefer comfort over calling. Isn't this chaotic? No, this is order. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Decent and in order does not mean dead and in orbit. It means gifts flowing within guardrails toward a vision that demands 2026 now. Structure that serves vision creates freedom. When people sit where they are graced, speed becomes safe, excellence becomes normal, and correction feels like coaching, not condemnation. Make this your decree over your house. We don't hire hands, we deploy gifts. We don't manage people, we steward mandates. We don't count hours, we measure fruit, and we do it now. Say it with me. I am not employed, I am deployed. One more time. Lions don't whisper, I am not employed, I am deployed. Because leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. And when the mind accepts deployment, the hands find their work, the feet find their pace, and the fruit finds you. In the next 48 hours, seek your people by gift, grant autonomy measured by fruit, and watch your house move from payroll to purpose, from crowd to core, from intention to impact. Now that you have seated people by gift and granted autonomy measured by fruit, we must deal with the ceiling above your engine. Hear me as a father. The enemy rarely attacks your hardware first. He corrupts the firmware belief. Culture is the invisible governor on your team's speed. You can tune the engine, polish the chassis, add premium fuel, and the car still crawls because a little device on the throttle says no more. Write this down. Your team will never outperform its collective belief ceiling. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your heart is your subconscious, your cultural operating system. If the heart is capped, the house is capped. If the culture says 45, your gifts will coast at 44 and call it wisdom. Let me tell you a story. Years ago in Germany, they put me on the Autobahn, no posted limit. My mind said, be sensible, Myles. 80 is honorable. Then a small car, not a monster, slid past me like an arrow. I felt something insulted in my spirit. I pressed 90, 100. The road did not change, only my belief. My hands sweated at 120. At 150, the landscape became a ribbon. Then I crossed 170, and my soul expected angels with flowers. Do you know what I found? There was life after 170. Write it down. Exposure explodes limits. The environment didn't suddenly become safe at 80 and dangerous at 170. My belief was the limit. After 10 minutes at that speed, 100 felt like a yawn. What changed? Not the machine, not the road, the mind. Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Transformation is not magic. It is mental renovation. New walls, new windows, new speed. What are your speed limits? Name them, strip them. 1, fear of failure. That is a cultural demon that throws a sheet over excellence. When failure is punished, people will drive under the limit and call it stewardship. James 3 warns about the tongue setting a forest on fire. Some of you have meetings that torch initiative. Write this down. Fear-based cultures build brakes, not engines. You want faster? Celebrate brave learning, not cosmetic perfection. 2, title addiction. Leaders trapped in rank wait for permission to breathe. The centurion said, I am a man under authority. I say to this one, go, and he goeth. Matthew 8-9. Under authority does not mean stuck. It means secure enough to act within a mandate. Title addiction is the slow lane. Deploy charters, grant decisions, measure fruit. 3, meeting worship. Some of you don't need another agenda, you need an action. Ecclesiastes 11:4 says, he that observeth the wind shall not sow. Wind watchers never plant. Meeting watchers never move. Meetings should compress clarity, not postpone obedience. 4, perfection paralysis. Genesis 1 is God's production manual. Day 1 good, day 2 good. He shipped the day, not the decade. Write this down. Perfection is procrastination baptized. Ship smaller, sooner, safer. Say it with me. I am faster than my fear and safer than my excuses. Again, like you mean it, I am faster than my fear and safer than my excuses. Safety is not in slowness. Safety is in structure. Fast becomes safe when cycles are small, boundaries are clear, and truth is told early. Hebrews 12:1 says, let us lay aside every weight and run with patience the race that is set before us. Patience in the Greek is hupomone, steady endurance at pace. Lay aside the weights, fear, titles, rituals without fruit and run. How do we break these limits? We don't argue with them, we expose them. Run exposure sprints. Write this down. Exposure breaks enchantment. Practice builds permission. Fruit makes it permanent. 3 sprints in the next 7 days. 1, visit a team 10 times faster than you. Go humble. Take 5 builders. Ask, what do you believe that we do not? What do you no longer fear? What do you measure daily? Don't copy their tools. Absorb their mindset. When the mind sees a new normal, it stops defending the old one. 2, demo a 10x tool. Not a slide deck hands-on. If code deploys in hours instead of weeks, watch it. If design generates options in minutes, try it. If AI drafts what took 3 days, compare output side by side. Don't argue if, test how. Let your eyes offend your excuses. 3, time box a 10x experiment. 48 hours, clear lane, 1 goal, a reversible decision, pre-approve the guardrails, deliver a measurable outcome, not a memoir. We are not gambling, we are learning at speed. Jesus sent them out and said, take nothing for the journey, Luke 9-3. Strip the weight, keep the mission. Write this down. Small cycles create big courage. When you compress time, you compress fear. The human heart can do hard things for short bursts, then it learns that death did not occur. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:32. Truth is experiential when you ship after 2 or 3 sprints. Your culture will say there's life after 170. Then 170 becomes 90 inches, your bone marrow, and you hunger for more. We also adjust language because words are thermostats, ban phrases that enforce limits. No more, we've always. Replace with until now. No more. That's not how we do it. Replace with show me the smallest safe test. No more. We need a meeting. Replace with we need a decision by 4 p.m. Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Culture speaks before it sprints. Align the mouth, the feet will follow. Someone will ask, who sets these limits? Who's the leader of speed? No one. And everyone. Leaders set culture by what they tolerate and celebrate. Teams sustain it by what they repeat. If a junior can say, I don't know without shame, you have killed fear. If a manager can say, I was wrong and get a cheer, you have killed title addiction. If a director can cancel a meeting and say, ship a draft by noon, you have killed meeting worship. If your chief can say good enough to learn, you have strangled perfection paralysis. Write this down. Whatever you tolerate, you authorize. Whatever you celebrate, you multiply. Guard the heart of the house. Proverbs 4:23, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. The word issues means boundaries, outflows, speed limits. Keep it. How? Ritualize exposure. Every month, a field trip to a faster frontier. Every week, a 90-minute hands-on with a tool you've never used. Every day, a 15-minute sprint that ships something small and true. Install a scoreboard that praises cycle time and quality at the same time, fewer defects, faster flow. We are not anarchists, we are artisans with a metronome. I feel this strongly. Leaders, go first. If the shepherd is nervous at 80, the flock will panic at 60. Get in the fast lane. Sit with someone younger and say, teach me. That is not weakness, that is wisdom. Gideon was hiding in a wine press until the angel called him mighty man of valor. Judges 6:12. Identity precedes pace. Say it with me. I am faster than my fear and safer than my excuses. One more time, because lions don't whisper, I am faster than my fear and safer than my excuses. You are not an accident. You are an assignment to remove governors from minds, to make speed safe through structure, and to raise the ceiling so your gifts can breathe. Break the limits, practice the pace, watch the fruit, and when your dashboard reads 170, smile, there is life after this. Rituals are not cute, they are covenant. In every great house there is a rhythm, and in every rhythm there is a revelation. Write this down. Rituals are the rails that carry belief into behavior. A train full of intention will still sit in the station without tracks. Acts 2:42 says, and they continue steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship and in breaking of bread and in prayers. Continued steadfastly, that means cadence. Jesus himself had habits as his custom was. He went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day. Luke 4:16. Customs create cultures. Cultures create outcomes. If 2026 is a demand and not a date, then we must lay rails today so belief travels into daily fruit without friction. Here is your first rail, the daily 3. 7 minutes, not 67. Why? Because speed is safe when it is simple. 3 parts. 1, declare the vision. 2, review the top lead metric. 3, identify today's $4 wire. We do this at a precise odd time to prove we mean it, 7 a.m. Stand up, no chairs, no slides, no speeches. Start with the ruling picture in 1 sentence. Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. Vision is more important than leadership because if the leader is strong and the vision is vague, the strength only gets you lost faster. Say it with me. Vision before velocity. Here is how you declare it. We exist to one sentence so that one outcome by one date. Then together, like soldiers reading orders, you speak it out loud. Why out loud? Because faith comes by hearing, and your heart believes what your mouth repeats. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Say it again. Until you feel alignment, return to your bones. Second, in 60 seconds, read the one lead metric that most predicts today's fruit. Not vanity, velocity. Not the harvest, the moisture in the soil. If your engine is mission growth, it might be qualified demos booked yesterday. If your engine is delivery, it might be cycle time from code to customer. If cash is your oxygen, it might be invoices sent in the last 24 hours. Proverbs 27:23 says, be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks. Know the state, not the stories, the state. One number read by the owner, green, yellow, or red. No explanations. No drama, facts lead, fear leaves. Then third, the wire. Identify today's smallest, cheapest constraint we can fix by noon to restore flow. One toggle, one link, one call, one missing acceptance criterion between two roles. Name it, assign it, time box it. By lunch, it is either fixed or elevated. Say it with me. Test the cheapest fix first. That's 7 minutes. Set a timer. Start on time. End on time. Daniel kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day, as he did a 4th time. Daniel 6:10. Custom, cadence, consistency. Your second rail, the weekly engine sync, 45 minutes. This is not a status theater where gifted people mime progress with adjectives. This is a mechanics bay where parts touch, interfaces tighten, and flow is restored. Who's the leader in this meeting? No one. And everyone leads in their function. We bring the handoff map, the exact deliverables that move from one role to another this week with acceptance criteria in plain language. We move from left to right through the engine, demand to delivery to cash to care. At each interface, we ask 3 questions. What is due to cross? What does done look like? What wire could cheap stop this flow? And who owns testing it? Bring artifacts, not adjectives. Show the release note, the template, the API key, the checklist. If it can't be seen, it isn't real. We spend the last 15 minutes on constraint clearing. One by one, we remove the pebbles from the shoe. If a decision is required, the owner of the domain grants autonomy measured by fruit. If escalation is needed, we set a time and a person, not an email ghost. Ecclesiastes 10:10 says, if the iron be blunt, he must put to more strength, but wisdom is profitable to direct. This sink is where we sharpen, not just swing harder. Your third rail, the monthly values lab. Values are not wall art, they are lane lines that keep you safe when you decide to drive fast. Once a month, for 60 minutes, we choose one value and we put it under the light. Start with testimony. 2 wins where this value produced fruit. Matthew 7:16, by their fruits ye shall know them. Then truth. 2 violations where this value was ignored and we paid a tax. No shame, just facts. Then training. We rewrite one behavior. Contract one simple, observable, we will and we will not. Sentence that translates belief into muscle memory. Example, value, honor. Contract. We will reply to teammates within 24 hours, even if only to acknowledge and set an expectation. Value, ownership. Contract. We will escalate a stuck handoff within 1 hour with a proposed next step. Value, unity. Contract. We will say we about our house and I about my responsibility. We will not say they about any team inside the vision. Read the contract together. Sign it with your mouths. Post it where eyes can see it. 1 Corinthians 14:40 says, let all things be done decently and in order. Decency is clarity. Order is cadence. Culture is enforced at the point of behavior, not the point of branding. Now, I want to activate your identity because rituals without revelation become ruts. Say it loud. The world needs me. My team needs my gift. Our vision needs my fruit. Again, like a people awakening to mandate, the world needs me. My team needs my gift. Our vision needs my fruit. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. When you show up to the Daily 3, don't bring your job, bring your work. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. And when your gift is placed on rails, excellence becomes normal because the mind no longer negotiates with mediocrity. It follows a path. Let me confront a spirit that paralyzes leaders, religious passivity dressed as spirituality. Stop praying, only be active. Pair every prayer with a plan and a person this week. James 2:17 says, faith, if it hath not works, is dead being alone. Nehemiah 4:9 gives you the pattern. Nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our God and set a watch against them day and night. Pray and post to God. In your house, every Monday, prayer list must have 2 blank columns. Plan for the next 7 days and person accountable. If it is not actionable in 7 days, it is not a prayer item. It is a dream awaiting design. On Friday, we testify the fruit or we tell the truth about the wire. We don't spiritualize delay, we sanctify discipline. Hear the Father in me. Simple, repeatable rituals beat complex, sporadic efforts. The vision, belief, behavior pipeline becomes predictable only when it is rhythmic. Hebrews 10:24-25 says, and let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, but exhorting one another. Provoke unto good works. That is ritual language. The Daily 3 provokes the mind. The weekly engine sync provokes the system. The monthly values lab provokes the soul. Together, they make belief visible and fruit inevitable. Within 72 hours, install these rails. Publish the Daily 3 script. Set the exact times. Name the metric. Define who declares the vision. Appoint a timekeeper with the courage to cut you off. Draw the engine map for the weekly sync. Pre-fill the interfaces. Forbid adjectives without artifacts. Pick next month's value and pre-draft 2 candidate behavior contracts so the room edits, not invents. Then begin. Don't wait for perfect. Start with obedient. Leadership is born when toleration ends. End the toleration of aimless days, theatrical meetings, and values that have never sweat. Write this down. Rituals make speed safe, excellence inevitable, and 2026 present tense. Now we move from revelation to rotation, from intention to itinerary. Movement beats intention. Write this down. 90 days of disciplined cadence will do more for your destiny than 900 days of vague desire. Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it, not that he may clap. Run, not that he may remember. Run. The proof that a vision is plain is motion. So I am giving you a run plan, 3 phases, 30 days each, so your house can become 2026 ready by force of rhythm, not force of personality. Say it with me. Cadence over charisma, pipeline over panic, fruit over feelings. Phase 1, days 1 through 30, compress, codify, and map. Vision before everything. Take the next 72 hours and compress the destination into 3 containers, 1 sentence, 1 page, 1 story. The sentence is your steering wheel, fewer than 20 words that any child can speak and any builder can steer by. Test it on a 12-year-old. If they squint, you rewrote fog. The page is your dashboard, where we are going, why it matters now, who we serve, and what we will refuse. Write it in verbs. The story is your ignition, one narrative from the future told in the present tense so the mind can attach emotion to direction. Recorded on video, publish all 3 by day 5. Proverbs 29-18 says, where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. The Hebrew word means they break loose, they wander. Restraint returns when vision is plain. Then, still in phase 1, publish your top 5 values with behaviors. Not poetry, policies you will practice. For each value, write 2 always behaviors and 2 never behaviors. If we say truth, then always confess fast, surface risks early. Never hide defects, edit metrics. If we say speed, always ship a draft by noon, decide at the lowest level. Never postpone decisions to meetings. Wait for perfect. Put these on the wall, the wiki and the onboarding. Teach them daily for a week. Psalm 119-11 says, thy word have I hid in mine heart. We hide what we expect to need under pressure. Values are lanes at speed. Finally, in phase 1, identify your engine map. Map the flows we named: demand, delivery, cash, culture, data. Under each, list the key parts and interfaces, name owners, find 3 potential $4 wires per flow and circle them. Decide a simple signal: green, yellow, red. Begin a daily 10-minute flow check with your pilot team by day 10. Close phase 1 with a house reading of Genesis 1:28. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. Fruit is not a metaphor, it is a measurement. Write this down. Vision shapes belief. Belief governs behavior. Behavior produces fruit. Pipeline. Phase 2, days 31 through 60. Charter, measure, and pilot. You will write role charters for the core functions in your engine map. We already trained you. Mandate, boundaries, autonomy, fruit indicators. Do not write tasks. Write the reason the role exists and the fruit that proves it is leading. Attach budget lanes and decision rights. The day you sign a charter, call the person a leader in that domain. Who's the leader? No one and everyone. Everyone is a leader in their area of functioning when fruit is defined. Then set lead and lag metrics. Write this down. Leads predict, lags confirm. If your lag is renewals at 95%, your leads might be QBRs completed on time, time to first value under 7 days, open tickets older than 48 hours equals 0. If your lag is monthly recurring revenue up 12%, your leads might be qualified. Demos per rep per week, proposals, cycle times, win rate on ICP deals. Make the leads controllable by the role and visible daily. Lag proves the season. Lead guides the day. Luke 14:28 asks, which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counted the cost? Counting the cost is defining the numbers before the noise. Pilot your rituals with one team for 30 days. Daily flow, check 10 minutes. Color by outcome, weekly constraint, review 30 minutes, wire protocol, and a weekly stand and declare session where the team speaks the vision sentence aloud, recites the values, behaviors, and sets 3 daily lead targets each. Not religious noise, neurological rewiring. James 1:22 says, be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. Doing builds belief. Belief sustains doing. Document learnings from the pilot. Adjust cadence, not conviction. Phase 3, days 61 through 90 scale. Hunt, expose, and report. Scale the rituals house-wide. Daily flow checks at the start of shift. Weekly constraint review for each flow. A monthly exposure sprint for the core. Run 2 formal constraint hunts in this window. Pick 1 red flow each time. Apply the $4 wire protocol. List parts, trace interfaces, test cheapest, fix first. Instrument the repair and publish the confession. Celebrate the wire finder. Fear leaves when facts lead. Also in this phase, run 1 exposure sprint as commanded earlier. A visit to a faster house, a hands-on with a 10x tool, and a 48-hour time box experiment that ships a measurable outcome. Romans 12:2, be transformed by renewing the mind, happens under pressure with proof. By day 90, publish your first fruit report. keep it one page. Top third, the vision sentence and the 5 values, but they're always never behaviors. Middle lag, outcomes versus target, and the 3 most predictive leads by role with adherence rates. Bottom 3 stories, 1 $4 wire we found and fixed within 72 hours, 1 deployment win where a gift produced unexpected fruit, and 1 culture shift where a speed limit was removed. End with John 15:8. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, so shall ye be my disciples. Fruit glorifies God and guides teams. Now, let me give you the team fruit audit you will execute monthly like a blood test. Write this down and make it ritual. 1, vision recall rate is 90% or greater across the team. How? Randomly call on 10 people from different levels without notes. If 9 out of 10 can say the sentence exactly, you are safe. If not, you are drifting. If the blind lead the blind, both fall into a ditch. Check the eyes. 2, values violation. Count trends down quarter over quarter. You track violations like you track defects by behavior, not vibes. If confess fast is a value, count late confessions. If ship a draft by noon is a value, count miss same day drafts. If the count is not dropping, you believe poetry, not policy. 3, role handoff defects reduced by at least 50%. That means fewer drop balls at interfaces. Measure rework due to unclear acceptance criteria, missing fields, or timing misses. Who's the leader of handoffs? No one. And everyone at the interface. 4, lead metric adherence is 80% or greater for 8 consecutive weeks. That's not a week of heroics. That's consistency. If a role's lead is 5 qualified outreaches daily for 8 straight weeks, 4 out of 5 days must hit the mark. Why 8? Because habit has a half-life. We anchor it. 5, customer trust improving. NPS up, CSAT up, renewals up. Don't debate sentiment. Collect it. If trust is not rising, your fruit has worms. 6, documented $4 wire fixes completed within 72 hours. That means when a low-cost, high-impact fix is found, it is repaired, instrumented, and taught within 3 days. Delay is a tax on destiny. Say it with me. By their fruits you shall know them. Again, by their fruits you shall know them. You are not auditing to shame, you are auditing to shepherd. A shepherd counts sheep because he loves them, not because he doubts them. The audit is a mirror, not a whip. If a metric is red, you do not pray first, you diagnose. If a metric is green, you give thanks and you scale what works. Philippians 4:9 says, those things which ye have both learned and received and heard and seen in me do, and the God of peace shall be with you. Do what works. Peace is flow. Expect resistance and plan for it. Some will say, we need more time to think. No, thinking without doing is hallucination. Some will ask, can we add 5 more values? No. 5 is plenty. Practice beats piling. Some will want to draft charters without fruit indicators. Refuse. Freedom without fruit is anarchy. Leadership is born when toleration ends. In the toleration of fog, of title addiction, of meetings that produce nothing but minutes. Write this down. If it isn't on the calendar, it isn't a priority. If it isn't measured, it isn't a value. If it isn't shipped, it isn't real. Before we leave, make your next 24 hours holy. Tonight, schedule a day 1 vision compression meeting, 2 hours, small core, book daily flow checks for your pilot team for the next 30 days. Assign 1 owner to write draft values with behaviors by day 3. Appoint an engine map scribe. Set the date for your first exposure sprint within 60 days. Send a house message with the vision sentence placeholder. By Friday noon, we will all say this sentence. Then sleep with courage. When you wake, move. Faith without works is dead, James 2:17. But faith with works moves mountains with shovels and schedules. Say it with me. I will run what I have written. I will practice the pipeline. Vision to belief, to behavior, to fruit. I will ship small, tell truth, fix wires, seek gifts, and count trust. I am not an accident. I am an assignment to lead a 2026 ready team by cadence, not charisma, by fruit, not fame. And when the report comes in and the culture hums like a tuned engine, you will stand and ask one last question for the house. Who's the leader? No one, and everyone. Fruit proves it.